of tournaments
Backyard
and
tournaments, man. You don't
I've
know
been
about
tournaments. I remember weighing in. Alex
that.
Tony was there. I weighed in at the sub only tournament in like Pontiac, and it was in this bathroom, and there was like it was I swear to you, the ceiling was falling apart. It smelled like mold, and it was like a little like it was just the most like
Yeah.
favela type competition setting you could imagine. So like it's cool, but like I'd like a slightly better production value than whatever that was happening. So
Right.
all right, guys. So we are live, and we're just kind of off on a tangent here. So we've got Professor Deon Thompson here. Obviously, I'm Coach David with Metro Jiu Jitsu and Professor Muhammad. Guys, how you guys doing this morning?
Good morning.
Good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, my pleasure, man. So we've got, obviously, I mean, they're locally. I don't think you need an introduction. You're one of the OGs in the jiu-jitsu scene, certainly in Southeast Michigan, Northwest Ohio. But I'm just gonna let's do an intro for. We have a lot of people watch, out of state or whatever. Tell us who you are, who you're affiliated with, when you got into jiu-jitsu, and then we'll just kind of go from there.
You
All
are
right.
also a Masters champion. You're a world champion multiple
Well,
times.
hold on. I'm gonna get to all that in a second. So, but no, I'm Deon Thompson out of Toledo, Ohio. Ohio Braza Jiu Jitsu, and I started actually way back in the day. My first instructors were Salo, Ribeiro, and Shanji, and Chris Blanky. So I started there. Shouts out to those guys. I was there I started in 2000 to 2006. And then some things happened from late 2006, 2007 till now. I'm under my professor, Rodrigo Camprito, who's also multiple-time world champion. And I feel it was a blessing to train with all three of those guys directly because I had an opportunity to go with the best in the world. And I didn't even know what I had back then. I'll be honest with you. A lot of us didn't. But even Shanji, I give him a lot of credit because he really, people, oh, you play close guard. That's what Shanji had me doing. And I didn't realize I seen him on a podcast. And he was explaining like I was trying to make, he was trying to make me like a Braulio, like a Hodger, because those were the guys who were fighting. We're only white and blue belts. But I had a tall build. So he developed my close guard. And then once I got with Caprito from purple till now, my game just shot up a little bit.
That is, so we started with Salo Ansanshi as well, and my brother lived he lived in the apartment across from them in Toledo.
Really?
And a lot of people he kept telling me about oh, you got to train these Brazilian guys, and I was like, get out of here, and I came at I think Salo was leaving Michigan the week I joined, literally the week I joined, and but they still had tournaments and things, and man, you want to talk about that is well we're gonna get into it, but you want to talk about old school jiu-jitsu, what got me into it versus maybe what we see today. I don't know, but so when did you start?
So
what year did you start? Go ahead, Professor.
Oh, go ahead. You got something?
Yeah. So you said you didn't know what you had when you were training with them, and today we know that these guys are in the Hall of Fame, and that was they were starting to peak, peak in their prime, and they're some of the most decorated brothers in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, IBJJF, ADCC. These guys, when we look back, they left a major mark on jiu-jitsu. So for you looking back today, back then, what was it that you had? You're an instructor today. You have your own instructors. You have your own affiliates. So you get to see coaches and styles, and you've also seen the evolution of jiu-jitsu. Looking back, what was it that was there that we don't have today with the Salo, Shanji, Camprito? What was it that you were around that kind of?
It was a small. So we had, we want to say we had 11 to 20 students, but every time I was in there, it may not have been any more than 6 to 8 of us in the gym. And the way it got started was kind of funny because one of my fraternity brothers showed me the UFC. We all started the same way, and he shows me this guy, Hoist Gracie. Oh yeah, this is great. So I'm at work, and I have a magazine. I'll never forget this magazine. It had Salo on the front, Superman or something. It was a grappling magazine. And there's a lady that came up and said, "Hey, he's here in Toledo." And I said, not this guy. I said, "This guy's Brazilian. There's no way he's in." He said, "No, my husband trains with him." I was like, "Yeah, whatever." I didn't think she knew what she was talking about. So she brings in a flyer of a seminar. And she's like, "Go here, you'll see him." So I go, and there's literally like 6 of us at the seminar. And here's this little Brazilian guy. And I'm like, wow. And then I thought I was in shape at the time. I was playing a lot of Federation basketball leagues, uh, flag football, softball. I was just an athlete. I was a college athlete. So I said, okay, I should be in decent shape. I should be able to hold my own. I get on the mat with this guy. He did whatever he could have took my money, car, key, anything he wanted. And it was at that point I said, you know what? I better learn this stuff. And that's how it started.
That is, everyone's got that story. Like everyone has
Yeah.
that. So my introduction to jiu-jitsu was with a kid named um, Dante Leon. Like that's how, that was he was 14 and like looked malnourished, and same thing, he just did whatever he desired, and I was 220. Same, everyone's got that story. Like, and
Yes.
and I think the fact that it's still like that, people will even still argue the ineffectiveness of jiu-jitsu in 2024 is nothing short of mind-blowing to me. It's mind-blowing to me. And but that's crazy. So there were 6 people at a Salo Havero seminar, and now like Sanchi's on like cruise ships, and it's like, who knows what it takes, going to Puerto Rico, like who knows what it takes. That's crazy.
Shanti, when he got here, his English, wasn't that good at all. He speaks so well now. Like if you watch him on like on Flow Grappling and stuff, I mean, it's amazing to me how those guys can come over here and just really learn the language well. And I think that's what talking to Comprito, he said he was dedicated to learning the language because he wanted to be a good instructor in America. So I think that's the philosophy probably of a lot of Brazilians. We have to learn this so we can really convey the information.
So Deon, what's missing? What's different
Okay.
from what's different from instructors back then, 2006, when you started? And we're talking about the ones who brought Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu to this country, from today. Like, could they come in today, that same, say, Salo, Shanji, when they first came? Can they take their same business model and instructing style? Could it work today?
Yes and no. I think back then things were kind of secretive because when I first started, there was the Kaiki team. You guys know that? It was pretty much us. It wasn't a whole lot of different teams, and everything was kind of kept in secret. We had our own style. Wasn't wasn't a lot of cross training. If it was done sort of underground, and that was kind of the unwritten rule. So I think if you tried that now, you probably, wouldn't have a lot of students. Obviously you want loyalty to the team. Yeah, I think that's very important. That was something that was impressed upon me at an early age in jiu-jitsu. But the whole cross training bit, and you could go to different seminars, that kind of was frowned upon. Now it's not.
What? Hang on. I do want to pause on that because that's you're known for a few polarizing viewpoints, maybe. Well, I don't, maybe they're polarizing now, but one of which is I see you post and preach about loyalty a lot, and you've got a few guys who have been with you. Thinking of Petey, you've effectively raised, from childhood. But what is loyalty? What does loyalty look like to the team, and how do you promote loyalty without appearing that you run a cult? Because that's a big thing. Jiu-jitsu cults.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing: loyalty works both ways. See that? I think that's where people get it mixed up. And there's a saying, and Marcus, he sent me this. He says, he calls me out. He's like, the problem with you is you think other people are supposed to be you. That's just who I am naturally. Like I am, if I'm a friend, I'm going to be a friend of yours. I'm not going to be swayed by this opinion, that opinion. Yeah, we could have differences, but I think if I'm showing loyalty to you, if I'm showing genuine friendship, and this goes even for family, and I feel it's not reciprocated, then what's the point? Then we have a superficial relationship. See, people look at jujitsu as the business model. And I was told this when I first got started. Your problem is you don't look at people as a business. You look at it, you become too friendly with people. And I said, I don't know any other way. Like, I was raised, came up in team sports. Everything was about the team. And I'm big on the team. I just happen to be the leader of the team now, but I'm still about my team. You guys understand this. When you go to these tournaments, when you travel, you guys have probably paid for students to compete. You probably have bought hotels. You probably spent your own time. We don't get paid to do those things. You fly out to the world, you fly out to any open, wherever you go. That's not what their tuition covers. You can say, hey, I'm not going to do that. But the fact that that's who I am, because if I'm going to invest in you, I'm going to invest fully in you. I want to see you, reach your maximum potential. And that's what I mean by that. So if a person can do this for you forever and ever, and then all of a sudden you feel you get to a certain point and it's like, I don't need this person anymore. What the heck? I'll give you a quick story. All the time, I'm a third-degree black belt, right? Obviously, I don't need my instructor anymore to promote. I can promote black belts. I can do a lot of things. And people ask me, why am I with him? Because when I wasn't those things, he helped me out. When I wasn't a third-degree black belt, when I wasn't a black belt, period, this guy would sacrifice his time, his money, anything he could do, his resources to help my students. So why am I going to say, now that I have it, to heck with you? I just don't believe in that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a conversation that that's really true about the even just tournaments. Going to even a local tournament, and especially as you get the nature of life cycles, right? Like if you're a 19-year-old, purple, brown belt, whatever, you're young, no wife, no kids, no family. It's really not much skin off your back to go to a tournament and coach. But like everyone on this call has all of those things. And so now to carve out a full Saturdays are they're a full commitment. Like we got the Buckeye Border. It's not the I still call it the Buckeye Border, but like we got
the former Buckeye Border.
Buckeye the former Buckeye Border, right? But we got that's a full Saturday event when we go to those things. And so it's like you've only got you're working that those sacrifices, of course, the financial stuff to that as well. And I'm thinking of those guys are huge, and it's. I think the nemesis of loyalty is it's not what you've done for me, it's what you've done lately. So it's easy to forget. It's easy to forget what someone did, before you really needed them or what you had, what you had coming up. So Coach, let's go into let's brag on your credentials though a little bit, because I think you're it's easy to sleep on kind of what you've done. Like in the jiu-jitsu scene. So do you compete? Have you ever competed? Yes. Have you ever had any success?
Yeah, so I just competed Saturday actually in Charlotte. But so I've won. I'm Houston Open champ, Memphis Open champion. My goal was to try to win a championship in every city. When they had the Detroit Open and IBJJF, gold medalist, St. Louis, gold medalist champion, New Orleans, multiple time champion, Pan, gi, and no gi champion, Master North America champion. Now, Master Worlds, second place. That's the one that has escaped me. But American Nationals champion, Charlotte Open champion, Dallas Open champion. I'm going to forget a lot, but at one time I was just traveling all over trying to compete. This is just at black belt. Now, before that, I competed. I would try to do like local stuff, and then I would travel a little bit. But I was told something. Nothing matters till you become a black belt. So I started to say, okay, once I'm a black belt, let me get out here. Plus, for me, I had to. If I'm big on all these tournaments, and I'm telling my students, I can't tell them to do something I'm not willing to do. Thanks. Even in spite of my age, I never make that an excuse. I just want them to see a guy win or lose. I've been fortunate enough to win. And by the way, my jiu-jitsu is very boring. It's effective, but boring. But I want them to see like, hey, anything is possible if you get out here. I just told you, I had a knee replacement in February, and my goal was to compete before a year and a half, a year. That's when I was told I could come back, and I was told I'd never be the same. I just did Charlotte and just won a gold last weekend. So for me, I always have to have goals, and I want to show my students that if you put your mind to it, there's no limitations. It doesn't matter about anything. You just have to believe in you.
So, Professor Muhammad, I need to line up some timelines because I'm late to this party. Mo, were you? Because at a time we were in the same affiliation. That do you remember being affiliated with Salo and Sanshi when Deon was, or was that even before your time?
Uh, I, I don't know if we trained together back when they were in Melvindale, but I remember seeing you a few times way back
Hmm.
then, and that was the time I came in 2006 and or 2006 7, and that's when you were kind of on your way out.
Transition. Yep.
So
And
Gotcha.
I never
Okay.
yeah,
forget.
yeah.
I did my first tournament. I never forget. It was kind of scary when I got kicked out, and I think it was Ryan Fiorenzi's tournament, and I was a purple
Mhm.
at the time, and I went in the finals against EJ, and I just remember all the solo guys, even up doing the kite, they're all over there, and I'm like, oh my god, man, I was so nervous. I was like, I have to at
How did
least.
you end up against EJ's? Like, how did
EJ
you
was in the
even end
finals,
up?
so it was an open division. He was a brown, but I was a purple.
Oh,
You gotta understand, back in those days, that it wasn't a lot of people, so you just put the advanced belts. All of them just made a division, and he was
purple it
on one
up.
side of the bracket, I was on the
Purple it
other.
up. There you go. That's crazy. EJ he's in Florida now, right? He's like living the dream in Florida.
Yeah, amazing grappler, super nice guy,
Yep.
great instructor. So it was a lot of fun.
Yep. All right. So, what is your take? So now that we've got some, and we can all kind of chime in on this. We'll start with Coach Deon, and then we'll go to
Mhm.
Professor Muhammad and myself. So we've been in going on a decade and a half, some of us almost 2 decades. How does jujitsu today? What does it look like compared to what it might have looked like in early 2000s, or yeah,
Well,
early
the gis are a lot nicer. I can tell you that. It was back in the day. You didn't really have a lot of variety. You know how the gis are tailored now. You got the A3L, A2. It was just A1, 2, 3, or 4, and you just had to make it work. You know what I mean? And also I think the game obviously has evolved. Leg locks, a lot of the cool stuff. But you know what's funny? What's old is new again. I mean, you saw Adam Wardzinski winning the worlds with the butterfly hook sweep, right? Butterfly guard. Everybody thinks that, oh my God, this game is so amazing. Mo, you remember that's not a new game, but everybody has gotten away from all these basics. You look at Mika Galbao doing close guard. Oh my God, it is close guard. This is the stuff that we've always learned, but everybody's doing so much different esoteric movements now that what's old is actually new again.
What, Professor? What's your take on what you've seen in we'll call it old school jiu-jitsu versus new
Yeah,
school?
so my 13-year-old daughter came in the house yesterday, and she's the one who won. She was a kids pans champ, first hijabi ever to win a
Yeah,
world champ. So proud of her.
congrats on that.
So
Shouts
she,
out.
thank you. So she walks in the kitchen. She says, "Baba, I was talking to Jabril. He's the one, Coach Jabril is the head of our kids program, and she's like, he was saying your jujitsu is basic and simple." So I'm like, what? And she's like, yeah. He's like, you're very knowledgeable and you teach all this stuff, but he's like, he was talking about you. I heard him say you're just a basic jujitsu guy. And I felt for a second she was taking a shot at me,
Yeah, it sounds like she's
and
trolling me. Honestly, like that sounds like she's looking for something.
So, I think that as a means of like exercise and fitness and stimulating the mind, there's so much to learn. And,
Mhm.
like jujitsu athletes, we push the limit and instructors on how differently can we get to an end goal. And that creates different, like, different games, different positions, different guards, and they're all really fun. And sometimes they could be acrobatic, but when you get down to right before a submission or a finish or a pass, like things do get basic. And I think that, like Deon said, that they do come for a circle. And um some of the best guys in the world finish with the most basic of things. And your age plays into factor, how you're training, what you're training for. But I don't think things have changed as much as people think they have. I think the opening up of what people are teaching and how much they're incorporating different guards into the curriculum definitely gives more puts more food on the platter for jujitsu people to absorb as far as what they could learn, what they could study, and it does open up the doors for different body styles, different ages to kind of say, you know, I want to practice this, or I like this game and that game. So I think that's my take.
Let me ask you guys. We all came through the doors, right? Because we wanted to know how to
Yeah,
defend ourselves. So that's to me, that's been the primary base of my system. I need to know my system works. Nogi in the streets. If somebody attacks me, that's the main theory behind my jujitsu. Yeah, do I teach berimbolo and all that stuff? Yes, because it's kind of fun and all the lapel stuff. But I have a strong self-defense curriculum here that guys, they can't advance to the next belt unless they really understand the self-defense. Because that, to me, is the most important piece. Medals are nice, titles are nice, but if you can't walk around the mall or you go to the grocery store and you feel uncomfortable, then what's our point?
That and and you pretty much took the words out of my mouth, coach. I got into it. I lost. What I finally pulled the trigger was, I got into, I got beaten in a little high school tussle bad. Like my senior picture, I just got this huge shiner. So I'm like, I'm gonna lift weights. Mark Ripto's starting strength. Like that'll solve the problem. Not, and like, so now I'm just strong and I don't know how to fight still. So then I got into it, and it's, you want to be the dude on top. Like, you want to be the guy on top. The ability to play from bottom, close guard, half guard, that's just the whole goal is to go from there to being on top. Like, that's how you
Hmm.
finish. Sanchi, we mount, we choke, we mount, we choke. Like that like that's it. And I think that, case in point, like what you can do in stress, in a high stress adrenaline pumping situation, is like your fine motor skills go away. Your fine motor skills, and then, like, you're gonna remember, like, big moves, scissor sweeps, arm drags, bump sweep, like those work. Like, I will still at black belt hit a tripod sweep, still, like, it still works. And I think all this other stuff is cool, but you if you want to get more money into jujitsu, and if you want it to be, like, popular, like like it's, I think they're trying to show flashy highlights, but you slap bump and you immediately sit to the ground. No, no, nothing. You just sit right away. Like, that's like, to the public eye, that loses something. It's like, dude, they're gonna punt you to they're gonna football kick you to the face. So I think that is from, I remember watching old school, all the guys, the old ADCCs, the old worlds, and they were like, they knew how to wrestle. I mean, they were wrestling, and they were doing that. So it's self defense first. This other stuff's cool, but as I age, like, I'm really mindful of getting stacked on my neck. I'm really mindful of, like, of
Yeah,
injuries and knees and things. Like, I'm a lot more mindful of that now than I ever used to be. And I'm like, still pretty young, comparatively speaking.
yeah.
So I think that's a really big difference too. I've also, what I don't keep up with the drama of jujitsu, but, like, I look at these guys like Craig Jones and Gordon Ryan. Was the showmanship and the disrespect always there, and
No,
the media just wasn't around, or is that, like, a new development?
that's a new development. And I think that was done basically to bring eyes to the sport. Mo, you may remember there was a time when if you weren't a black belt, you really didn't say much. Now we have social media. You'll have white belts and blue belt, talking crazy to black belts and having
yeah,
these opinions. And in my mind, I'm like, you're not even going to make it to black belt. Why did your opinion count? And everybody has an opinion. No, it just doesn't work that way. And
yeah,
I'll be honest with you, I still, in a sense, run my school that way. You have to earn it. Like the guys, that's why we line up from black belt and down. It to
yeah,
me, it says something when guys have earned their rank. And people could say, well, that's an old model. You look at any military, right? Let's talk. Hey, there's ranking. You respect the guys who've been here. You look at the police force, look at any job. You respect the guys who've put their time in. And now guys want to skip the line so fast. I tell you a quick story. There was a white belt who wanted to hop into absolute at my tournament. And I said, nah, it's for kind of blue belts. Well, why? But I beat blue belts in the gym. I said, well, tell your professor to give you a blue belt. I said, what's the point of being a blue belt if you get blue belt privileges as a white belt? What's the point? So,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's my theory, you know.
Yeah.
There's a lot, dude. There's a lot of truth to that, and even the lining up by rank, we do the same thing. People like, it's not a if we truly ran this shit like a business model, like a customer transactional model, they would not like it at all. They would not.
Yeah.
You would not like it at all. But they want to be. I'm a paying customer. No, no. You're my student, right? Like the total. Like let's not. Because you get a lot of. You talk about loyalty. You get a lot of extra privileges because I take on the coach mentor role. You're my student. And so like this is how we line up by rank. You don't like it, you want to go find some flippant Woodstock hippie,
Yep.
school, go join 10th Planet. I'm just playing. Like, but like go find
sure.
a different school. Go find a jiu-jitsu club, right? But like we've even talked about gis. I know Coach Bruno's got Professor Bruno has a white gi only, right, Mo? Right? White gi only in this school?
Yes, unless you're, I believe, unless you're black belt.
Yeah, so white gi only, dude. Who cares? Like, are you really gonna squabble over that? Like, that's the policy. You go everywhere else. Case in point, show me a business where there's not a uniform policy. You go to Lowe's, they all you can tell who works at Lowe's. You go to Home Depot, you can tell who works at Home Depot. Military, it's a martial art. It's a perfect example. You respect the rank, right? Like, and I think social media has given a voice to that, but dude, it's I could not agree with that more, and it really, I think it's a bad look, honestly. I think if you're like, how can out of the one side of your mouth you're talking, jiu-jitsu teaches discipline, respect, and and then you've got these guys going out there just lacking it entirely. Yep. So,
And I think that to me,
as
and this
far as
isn't
that,
popular. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to say, as far as like the trash talking in jiu-jitsu, like we're talking about the sports side, like in the UFC and jiu-jitsu, it's not a fight, it's a game and it's a sport. So there's a lot of rules, and in a real fight, you could poke somebody's eyes out, you could bite them. There's no rules. So in sport where there's controlled rules and referees and things like that, I used to talk a lot of shit when I was playing basketball, and it was fun. I built a lot of like relationships with people because it was like, you go back and forth and back and forth, and I think the people who talk in jujitsu, like it's like you got to back it up, and you can't so I don't think that I think that comes along with sport in general, and personalities come along with sport in general, and it is a martial art, and to instructors it is personal, and you have to have a level of like respect and things like that. But if you're the best and you win and you want to say you're the best and you're a winner and you're going to go out there and work at being a winner and you're going to back up who you say you are, I think that comes with sport. And I personally don't think you like as I don't look down on that, because I think as a coach and as an athlete, when you're in that mode, when you're in that zone, you got that rhythm. I think it just comes along with sport, all of them.
No, but see, well, here's my problem with that, because then where's the line? Because when you say that, then hey, I take steroids. You got to understand, there are a lot of young eyes. We got more younger people doing jiu-jitsu. You guys got a big kids program, you know that. So,
Yeah.
okay, take steroids. You can be like me. I don't like that. I still think there are certain things that, hey, as a public figure, you should behave a certain way. That's just my theory. Yeah, it's okay to have fun with it. But when it starts crossing lines and like I said, okay, I'm going to take steroids. This is what I have to do to be a world champ. For the longest, we didn't know about juicing. in jiu-jitsu. Well, you come from that area, you know, like I didn't know. I
Yeah.
just thought guys legit was working out, eating fruits, vitamins, and berries. I legit thought that. I was
Yeah.
that naive.
Yeah.
And now it's out there like, okay, are you really? I don't know. I could go all day about that, but
Yeah, there's no governing body, and yeah, I mean, I agree with you, but like that
IBJJF
just
does.
goes to personal. Well, they do, yeah, but personal accountability, and there's always a line, and you know, some people just take it too far. I think Conor McGregor, they're comparing him to the trash talking and mind games of Muhammad Ali, and he was really good at that. Did he cross the line? 100%. You know, was he able to back it up? No, he ran into somebody who absolutely could not, and he didn't even shut him up because he's still got a big mouth. But yeah, like there has to be personal accountability and some level of you know, moral compass when you are talking smack. And if the whole world is listening, you definitely better, you know, you have to keep that in mind. Otherwise, like you said, you have an impression on kids and up and coming people on that's what success is. That's what it looks like. That's what you need to do to be successful. And you know, and it just breeds a new generation of the wrong type of way to live and speak as a martial artist.
You know, I can't. I mean, I don't know. I'm not an athlete. Didn't grow up an athlete. Didn't really stay to sports. But I think the second you start adding conditional like exceptions to your code of conduct, right? And obviously, I've got like, I'm kind of guided and outlined by my own faith and religious views of how to speak and how to talk to somebody. But if you're like, well, yeah, act this way except for in sports, act this way except for in competition, act this way except for, it's just like I don't really know where that line's drawn, but I understand there's like an aggression that comes with competition. So what like question for both of you, is the gi irrelevant as we enter into the no gi age? Is the gi
Go ahead.
irrelevant?
Go ahead, Mo.
We're gonna start with Professor Muhammad, and then we'll go.
Okay. What is the gi for non like somebody just watching? Can you explain what that is?
Yeah, pajamas and a belt, like that's the karate uniform. I mean, come on, bro. Like
No.
that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's the
Yeah.
karate uniform. It's the robe you
Yeah.
wear. Like that's what it is. I mean, it's that heavy cotton. Um,
Yeah.
it's the
Yeah.
traditional uniform. It's like it's what you
Yeah.
think when you see it's that heavy robe and belt. Like that's what it is.
Absolutely not.
It's not irrelevant.
Absolutely not. I mean, I think the gi gives like personality to jujitsu,
Mm.
and the gi completely opens up who can do jujitsu. And you know, I think it's just as fun, if not funner, in the gi. Got more options. So absolutely not, man. It's I mean, I absolutely love the gi. I love no gi, but no, man, it's not even close. I think anybody who says the gi is gone or it's dead and it's, you know, I think just like everything we spoke about, we're gonna have another circle or cycle, and the gi's gonna come back. So um absolutely not. The
I
gi's
don't
here to
think that he
stay.
ever left. I was just at the Worlds. It was packed. So that's what
Yeah.
the media will have you think, like, oh, because no gi is coming. It's always been no gi. I was doing no gi as a white and blue belt. We learned no gi back then. But here's my thing. And I'm gonna ask you guys a quick question, then I'm gonna go into it. Obviously, I don't think the gi is dead, but when a new student wants to come to your class, say you got a newer guy, would you rather him come in, watch a nice gi class where everybody's lined up, it looks there's uniformity, or do you want him to come in a no gi class? Person's never seen it. Everybody's flopping around, sweating. You get a middle-aged guy in or some young guy, it's just not going to work. The gi brings, that's what the martial art is about. Okay, the gi. That's where you see the rank. So no gi, you can walk in, train with a guy, and oh my God, think about it. You get a strong wrestler, no gi, he's gonna love it because he's gonna be like, oh man, it's jujitsu. That's nothing. I can slip out of stuff. I can, strengthen my way out of it.
Yeah.
But the game is not that. But once again, to me, that's where the martial arts piece comes in. It shows, hey, we have a uniform policy, as you said earlier, Dave. and this is what we're about. And like I said, I was at the Worlds for the blue, purple. It was packed, but
Yeah.
what it is, this Americanization of jiu-jitsu now. Let's be honest. A lot of I'm gonna go here because a lot of people there's American jiu-jitsu. Listen, all of us can trace our lineage back. At least one instructor who are black belts now that was a Brazilian. If
Yeah.
there were no Brazilians here, a lot of us wouldn't be making a living doing jiu-jitsu. We need to put that out there because people seem to forget that. We all are doing this because Brazilians came over here and took their time. So those guys deserve it. You know why I say that? Because obviously, as African American, it's been happening to us forever.
Mm.
Most people didn't even know Jack Daniels was created by a black man, Nearest Green.
Mm.
So it's always been okay. Let me sneak down here. Let me learn the stuff, and I'm going to take it like it's mine. That's not right. And it's okay to give them their credit. It's fine. And ADCC, well, that's more of that's wrestlers. Mark Kerr lives in Toledo, Ohio. He was winning ADCC back in the day, a wrestler out of Syracuse. Tito Ortiz, all those guys. So there's nothing new. Now, obviously, it's evolved, it's advanced, but you still look at the gi guys are still killing it in no gi. But here's the thing: you'll have a gi guy. We'll say, hey, we'll take our gis off. You ask a no gi guy to put a gi on, man. Oh my God, no, I don't put the gi on. Aren't you a grappler? What difference does it make? And that was the school that we came up from, the old school. You just did both.
Hang on 1 second. Yeah, they're mine.
When I first started jiu-jitsu, for the first few years, I think we did no gi like once a week.
Yep.
So it wasn't much. And when the gi came
Yeah, but
off,
you
we
did
might
it
have been
though.
doing striking. What's that?
But you did it though. People seem to think
Yeah.
that all of a sudden that we never did no-gi. I got pictures of me in big baggy board shorts doing no-gi tournaments. Like it's just what we did.
I've got a
Yeah.
video of Muhammad doing a tournament topless.
That's what I'm saying. I'm
No,
saying
you
like
don't. You.
I've got it. So, dude, someone's got it somewhere. It's like you just like, 30
That
years,
was in Ohio.
wherever it was.
and this is what people won't tell you. There are a lot of infections. When you start dealing with that no-gi stuff, go in any wrestling room. I'm from Ohio. Guys always got staff, and you don't know how people take care of their
Yeah.
bodies. At least the gi has some type of barrier that you
Yeah.
can put on. There's always a lot of infections. People are going to see this and get mad, but it's the truth. If they're being honest, you show me. I'm blessed to say we don't. Let me knock on wood. Haven't really had that situation going on. But you don't know how people take care of themselves. And I'm big
Yeah.
on that stuff. Like if a person
Yeah.
comes in, if I don't think their gi's on point, hey man, you gotta go. Your gi's not dry. Ah man, it's got bacteria in there. I'm serious about that. And if your body's not smelling right, hey, at the end of the day, like we say, it's a business, but we're also martial artists. So our responsibility, there's a wide net we have to throw out there too with this.
Yeah.
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 No doubt.
I mean, that's an uncomfortable conversation that we've had to have with people like how to care for your gear. I mean, even like Professor Muhammad's got his whole soap line. Professor's choice, like to kind of help with that, cleaning the mats. Like that's a part of it. So I mean, it's a big deal. And then you've got that goes back to protecting the team, loyalty to the team. So we've got. We're kind of short on time, so I want to fire some of these. We've got so you're. I had hinted at the Buckeye Border, formerly the Buckeye Border. You've been running a tournament. It's the Ohio State Grappling Championship now, right?
Buckeye State grappling.
Buckeye State Grappling. And so when did that start, and how long have you been running that? Because that's one of the. I mean, I think you outlasted. I'm gonna be real. I think you outlasted the Michigan Open now, dude. I think they're done.
2006 is when I threw the first tournament, and it was like 30 people.
Mm.
And then I just kept it going. You know what I mean? And I had a partner at first, and he got tired of it, and so I just said, you know what? I want to do this because I saw the bigger picture. That's when the PANs and the IBJJF started coming around. And I wanted guys to have an outlet to where they can have a practice. Like, okay, you guys are going to do the IBJJF rules. You'll get some matches, you'll get some practice, and that's what it's about. When I see all these different tournaments that's come in here, I'm a part of the community. And I think that's why people support the tournament because I've supported over the years, and I am a part of the jiu-jitsu community here. I'm not just some guy. Let me come in, take your money. Guys will tell you, I want to make sure it's done right. I want to make sure that you have a good experience. And I can't guarantee you're going to win, but what I can guarantee is that, hey, if I run out of medals, I'm going to call you. I'm going to send you an email. Let me make sure you get this medal. You come late, which please don't do that this year, but guys will come in late, miss their match, come over to the table because I know your instructor. You know me, man, let me find you a match. A lot of places don't care about that stuff. When guys come in, they're just, oh, hey, let's run the tournament. Let's just do this. I'm not going to do you like that. I want to make sure that you have a decent experience, a fair experience. And I've been doing this, like you say, for a very long time. I always say, it's just I'm just a small guy, but I'm trying to. So many guys have come through. So many champions have competed in that tournament. You guys have all came down, and hopefully, it's a good experience for your parents. I'm doing the best I can do. So that's why I do it.
Yeah, no, it's a good, and what I will say is it has improved over
Yes.
like you've scaled, and you kind of, we were talking before the show about a tournament. We'll just leave it nameless, but like they like hit it hard the first couple of years, and then the production quality just tanked, non-existent, and we're like, what's the point, dude? I'd rather you slowly add some things over time, and what you're getting, right? And and that's a cool low. And what I will say is with the Buckeye State grappling, is you get like, as a brown and black belt, you'll get matches. I can appreciate that. You'll get
I,
matches against your peer group.
I draw close to 300 to 400 every year for that tournament. The no gi had 221 last year.
We're gonna be leaving soon. Go play.
So the thing is too, and then I'll get you in and out. That's the thing, people listen. And I did that for a reason. I'll never forget. You guys probably don't remember the old Arnold's. You'd be there at 2, 3 in the morning
I
waiting for a
remember.
match. My goal, honestly, because I hate sitting at tournaments all day, and people do it now. I want to get you in, get your matches, and get you going. I don't think you should be able to. I don't want you to have to spend a whole Saturday waiting around. All right, you had a match at 12 and you don't go again till 3. That's silly. I don't want to do that to people. So I like to get you in and out. I don't rush you, but I do make it efficient.
Yeah, and
So
I think it's the goal. Everybody needs to see tournaments for what they are. Like there's never been a tournament I've been to in my entire life. Even before jujitsu, like other striking arts, like stuff comes up. And you have to understand what it's there. You're there to go test your skills or a game or a strategy or just see how you rank up and maybe against your own age. Like there's a lot of different things, and it's not like medal chasing is great, but that's the easiest thing to do is chase a medal. But that shouldn't be the objective and outcome of competing at a tournament, and I think that like I said, just like any other game, football, basketball, there's never a game that doesn't end where like the ref missed this call. He because of the ref's call, the game changed. So I think that jujitsu athletes and competitors just need to see that for what it is, understand there's no such thing as a word perfect, and they just need to get out there, uh, meet some people in the jiu-jitsu community, test out their game a little bit, and it's a win-win for everybody.
Here's what I tell my guys. I say, guys, the only way you're going to know how you're going to react in a real situation without going to jail is basically the tournament setting. So if you can move, it doesn't matter if you win or lose, but can you at least move? Are you going to freeze up? That's the best way to get practice because, like I say, ultimately my goal is to make sure guys know how to defend themselves. So between that and the theater of jujitsu, which, by the way, thank you guys for supporting that. That's been huge. A lot of people like that.
that's a fun event.
Um,
Yeah, that's a fun event.
so yeah, thank you guys for always supporting.
The so and just on that point, Coach, he's like, jujitsu is the one he's like, it's the one sport where like you have to beg people to play the game. Like, they just want to, like, the practice is scrimmage. He's like, he's like, you just want to practice. Imagine going to basketball and you never actually go play a game. Like, the competition is the
Parents will
game.
go crazy.
It is the game, right? So that's a big point of it. Last question here.
Yep.
You have on the same tournaments, right? You have another reputation for, no matter how, let's say a tournament didn't go your way, you don't want to hear about age, weight, rank, or size. Like, you don't want to hear about it. Don't bring it up. You either won or you lost, and that's kind of the end of it. So, Ted, can you go into that stance a little bit, and then I've got an opposing question, playing devil's advocate.
Okay. Here's why. A lot of people, and you can look at post. A lot of people always have a built-in excuse. If they win, you see this. Oh, the kid or the guy was a lot younger than me. He outweighed me, and I still won. You're bragging. Okay. Here's the thing I tell my parents. I said, don't post that. The video is going to show it. You're going to post a video. You're going to clearly see there's a size advantage. And once again, what's the point of our teaching? I can't be on the street. Somebody comes up to me, hey man, can you go get your older uncle who's weighs about the same thing I do before you attack me? No. So why am I going to teach that in the school? You have to be able to make your jujitsu work no matter what. And if you lose, just accept the loss. Everybody has an excuse for losing. You think about it like this. Mo, we played basketball. I never played against a guy. I said, you know what, man, that guy kept scoring on me because he was so much faster. He was so much taller. It is what it is. Our sport, we always got to find some type of excuse. Like just roll. I roll with guys half my age every single day, and nobody says, you know what, I'm going to take it easy because you're 56 years old. Nobody's ever said that. Anybody comes through my doors will tell you, I'll roll with them. I'm not gonna, hey man, take it easy on me. Had a knee replacement, man, just roll. It is what it is. So that's my philosophy. I just don't believe in that. Like it just creates that. I don't know. I don't like it.
So I mean, but brackets exist for a reason, right? So like, if brackets exist for a reason, and then how do I ask this without getting us canceled? Did genders matter then? Like, if you could say, the brackets exist for a reason. Size matters, rank matters, age matters, and gender matter. Like, so like that's all. Is that not something noteworthy? Be like, hey, I was a blue belt, fought a black belt, I did well, but I lost. Like what is the?
It's how you say
what's the issue with it?
If you're using it, if you're just saying that to brag, and come on, we know the difference. Mm-hmm. Sure. We know exactly what it is. You know what I mean? If you're just trying to, all right, so you're a younger blue belt who's who's Division II wrestler. You beat a black belt like me and Mo. Oh, I'm not gonna say, man, I just took out this young wrestler. I'm not gonna ever say that. I just took out this guy. I just beat this guy who was a world champ, or I lost to this guy. You will never see any of my posts say that. And I fought some pretty good guys. Yeah. I've trained against some very good guys, whether tournament or not tournament. I never once had an excuse if I lost, and I never once hyped myself up, if I won. Now this weekend was big because I said I set a goal for myself about the knee replacement, but it had nothing to do with the win or the loss. It was the fact that I know I was in a mental space where people said I could not do this. I wouldn't be here until a year and a half from now, and I made it happen.
You reversing,
but that wasn't. Oh, look at me! Hopefully it inspired some guys to say, you know what? Damn, let me get off my butt, and I can do this too. That's what it's for. That's why I do it.
Well, and this weekend it was you versus you. More than as much as it was you versus whoever your opponent was, or opponents.
Yes, yeah. But brackets do exist for a reason, and that's obviously we want it. It's a sport and it's a grappling sport. Like I said, I come from team sports, so I'm kind of the wrong guy to ask. I don't know about cutting weight. I'll have students say, "Hey, should I cut weight so I should be at the top of This weight, I'm like, man, go where you're comfortable. I fight super heavyweight, and I'm not a big guy at all. I'm just tall, but my weight just happens to go this way as opposed to this way. I'm not a big guy,
Yeah.
so I fight super and ultra, and I never made an excuse. I'm like, okay, I'm a guard player anyway, so what difference does it make? I have to know my jujitsu works, whether you're big, little, or whatever. And the same thing with women. So we all have women in our school. So if a woman gets attacked, are we going to teach them to be afraid to defend themselves because the person is bigger than them or stronger? 9 times out of 10, that's what's going to happen when a woman gets attacked. The guy's going to be stronger and bigger. They have to know how to function mentally and that their body can work physically. So we can't have excuses.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. Professor Muhammad, what's your take on on brackets and divisions? Because I know, like you always want to try to match it up as best we can. Like getting matches for especially our masters, our older guys, our kids. Too. Kind of what's your stance on that same bracketing and kind of funneling that.
Yeah, I think the younger, like when you're talking about like in your 20s to like 30, like that prime, early 30s, um, they do want to build a star off of the back of somebody that's older, somebody that's got been around a long time, an instructor, a black belt, and I think that's never going to go away. The higher your rank, the bigger of a bullseye you have on you, and somebody who's like a wrestler, blue, purple, or whatever, if they think they tap you or they catch you or they do good against you, that is like they for them, that's the definition of success. And I know, like we're talking about, it's obviously not. If you're able to hold your own, whether it be us or a female or somebody that's smaller, if you're able to just hold your own, survive a little bit, and just stay in a mental space where you feel like emotionally you're in control of a match or a real life self defense, I think that is a win. But I will say that there is, when you get into like the 40s and 50s, like the true test is somebody your own age and weight. The 20 to 30, that's the prime areas. When you get into the 30s, can you hang with those guys? Yeah. But the brackets exist for a reason. Sometimes I think there's too many of them, but the older you get, or like how are you going to compare, even if you can hold your own, how are you going to compare Coach Deon, to somebody else who's like in their 30s or 40s, and he's had a knee replacement, and if he holds his own and survives the match, I mean, that's more of a win. He's probably going to do much better. He's been training a long time, but then you put somebody like him that or somebody who's had surgeries inside of a match, and somebody within a 5 to 10 year gap, same age, same weight. I said that tells a lot about that individual, not about the win or loss, but what it takes to get there, what it takes to prepare. Because you take 50 guys his age or my age and you line them up, I guarantee you they're not going to look like him. I guarantee you most of them are going to be overweight, out of shape, and even the ones who are training don't take the extra preparation to general health and fitness to complement their jiu-jitsu as him. I think just training for some people is the win. So I think that, and it says a lot about when you look at people, their performance and their daily schedule and habits. I think for that reason, you should compare some people in those brackets because it recognizes who's putting in the work and who's really dedicated.
I'm inspired by older guys that grapple. Even though
Yeah,
we're two of them now, but you
yeah,
ask a lot of these young guys, are you gonna make it to the Masters division? No, a lot of guys ain't.
yeah,
So, it's a blessing to be able to do that and still to be able to roll. I know you guys do the same
yeah,
thing. You got those young killers. I've rolled with your son before. You think he took it easy on me? It's a big guy, you know what I mean? But it's fun. But to me, that's
yeah,
a sign of respect. If you're gonna come at me
yeah,
and really try to, I'm like, man, that's he respects my jujitsu. So, it's
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Well, that is a like I appreciate your time, Professor Deon. Like, I know you got a super busy schedule, and I do want to give a shout out. I'll actually, I'll be competing at the Buckeye State Grappling
This
Championship
Saturday.
this Saturday. Yeah, I mean, always, I've got a goal to. It started off as a private goal, but I want to hit 15 tournaments, this year. I think yours will be number 7, and.
Nice.
And just to that point of like getting out there, I really hold it's, your statement about leading from the front. How can I possibly your students don't care. They really don't like they want to see that you. Yeah, they really don't. I mean, like no one cares more than you do that day, right? But and what I will say is every tournament I go to, I literally get the tape, and send it off to Coach Alvarez, and he'll kind of critique it. But we're excited for that. And then you've got Theater of Jiu Jitsu. You said coming up in Jackson,
September 28th. We got the Midwest Grappling Jiu Jitsu Championships in Findlay, Ohio, September 21st. And October 12th, we got the No-Gi Buckeye. So if you guys aren't doing anything, come on out. As you also, guys, while we're here, since it's going to be aired live, registration ends tomorrow, okay, at around 3 o'clock. Jiu-Jitsu guys are the worst. I was telling you this day before. There's like 50 guys that signed up in the last 24 hours.
Yeah, I was one of them. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, yeah.
Why? But at any rate, guys, we're gonna hopefully give you a good time. Thanks for having me, man. This is important. And guys, keep supporting this podcast. And thanks for having me on.
Appreciate you. I think we might have lost Mo on his connection, but I appreciate you, Professor Deon. We'll be sure to tag you in this. And if you guys haven't checked out, Deon's Jiu-Jitsu page, please go check that out. And we'll see you guys on the mats.
Yep.
Thanks so much.
I got that gold medal for you. I'm signing it up for you Saturday.
All right, you got it. I appreciate it. Set it aside for me. Thanks, Deon.